The Trump team is simply not beating the allegations. They're just not. Because just when they probably thought that the Jeffrey Epstein thing was over, that it might be dying down, boom, another Israeli is on the scene. His name is Tom Alexandrovich, a strong Middle Eastern name. Well, Mr. Alexandrovich, what have you been up to? He came to America on business and tried to get busy with American kids. And instead of locking his ass up like he deserves to have it locked up, he just had probably a charter plane flying back to Israel, the pedo capital of the world. He is a top-level employee of Israel's National Cyber Directorate. Yikes. He works basically right under Netanyahu. And he was trying to work right under little kids in America. First of all, let's be clear, he was trying to lure children, but he was unsuccessful. The FBI was doing a sting operation out of Nevada, and they were luring him and several other men in that area who were trying to make some sort of sexual contact with children. And when they showed up to the meeting, these perverts were confronted by law enforcement. Now, all of them were charged, and the police records are out. Great reporting from Breaking Point's news, Sagar of all people. And I am reluctant to give Sagar credit on his best day, but this was an excellent get. He said he didn't even have to work that hard for it. He just had to put in the regular amount of legwork. But it really is telling, right, that nobody else was chasing this story, this enormous story. And now, even when you look up this man's name, most of the coverage is coming from outside of the U.S. Fox News is not running with it. CNN is not running with it. And I wonder why. I mean, I don't wonder. I'm pretty much no, because Israel runs America. And you're not allowed to go out there bad-mouthing them or their citizens or anything. In fact, even when you catch them being absolute little nonces in your country, you'll just get them a first-class ticket back to the Holy Land where Alexandrovich came from. And Israel is going to refuse to extradite this guy to face justice in America. And I say this because this is a trend for them. This isn't the first time they've done this. They stay protecting pedos. They stay doing it. There is case after case after case where a pedophile has run away from justice in America, ran off to Israel, and was never, ever extradited. The family and the prosecution in the States goes years and years and years and years and years trying to catch these guys. And the Israeli government comes up with one excuse or another. And then, of course, there's statute of limitations on these things, which is insane. But this guy's not going to face justice. But this only raises more questions about the whole Epstein thing, in my opinion. It cannot be a coincidence that another powerful and well-connected Israeli is involved in this stuff and doing it on American soil and then running away to Israel. This is called pattern recognition. It's not anti-Semitism. It's not even anti-Israel, even though I am anti-Israel. This is just me recognizing a pattern that I'm seeing right in front of my face. One question that I have now that all of this is out in the open is where's all the MAGA child protectors? All of the ones who were going crazy about pizza places having basements, even though they didn't have a bottom floor. Where were all these people? You know, the influencers who went and got those stupid, ridiculous files. You know, part 1 of the Epstein release. Pam Bondi and Cash Patel, y'all ain't shit. Ain't shit. You protected Epstein, and now you're protecting Alexandrovich. And you're probably going to join with Trump to give Ghislaine Maxwell a pardon. It seems like these guys have never met an Israeli child abuser that they have not loved. Putting their entire jobs, reputation, legacy on the line to make sure that these people don't face any sort of accountability. What does that mean? So let's get into some of the official reporting now that Breaking Point News has busted the story wide open. All suspects were charged with attempting to entice minors online to commit sexual acts. But rather than jail and prosecute Alexandrovich, FBI officials allowed him to travel back to Israel, where he is unlikely to face prosecution. That's the other thing. When these criminals, depraved, subhuman scum run back to Israel, they don't get in trouble over there. They just get to carry on like, just a regular part of society. And the question has to be asked. Because if this were any other religion, the question would be asked. Is it because of the whole goyim thing? There is such a thing as Jewish supremacy over there. And there are really troubling things about how you can treat non-Jews written in some of the religious texts that these people subscribe to. And I'm not saying that anybody who subscribes to this religion is going to have these proclivities. I'm just saying I'm tired of people not being allowed to put two and two together. This is really disturbing stuff. And if there's a pattern going on, if this has happened more than once, more than twice, a dozen times, then questions need to be asked. American police officers and law enforcement and prosecution will put people away for anything. Remember that woman who wanted to vote, but wasn't sure if she could because she had a criminal conviction, and then she went to her parole officer and said, "Hey, can I vote?" And the officer said yes. And she went and voted, and her vote wasn't even counted because of some sort of clerical error. And she had to do prison time. This guy was trying to get it on with children. And he just gets to run away back home. And the cherry on top, he's not even fired from his job at the Israeli National Cyber Directorate. They're saying that, things aren't clear yet and we're waiting for an investigation. Wow. I've worked retail. You can get fired for so much less than this, but at the highest level of the Israeli government, when you are charged with trying to seduce children, you can still keep your job, right? The only democracy in the Middle East. And they share Canadian and American values, apparently. What does that say about us? These aren't any kind of values that I hold dear. And I don't know a lot of Canadians that do. I don't know anybody who would be happy if a Canadian did this overseas and then ran back here. I would want that person extradited immediately. And if they couldn't be extradited, they should face punishment in Canada. I wouldn't want this to become some sort of refuge for pedos. Because what? We're going to just start importing pedos? Once they come here, it's not like they're healed. They're just going to go on doing their pedo stuff, which is why I don't understand the Israeli government allowing these people to run back home and not get locked up. And then I wonder, do they know that they just do this stuff outside of Israel because they're doing it to non-Jews? These are uncomfortable questions. But at this point, when you see it this many times, and when you've heard the insane things that I've heard from Israeli rabbis, and not all of them, again, I'm not trying to paint with a broad brush. I'm not religious at all, but my family's Muslim. I know exactly what it's like to be painted with, when people paint with a broad brush. I'm just saying there's a pattern here. And it's creepy, and it's weird, and it's perverted, and I don't understand the logic. Because you're inviting this kind of crime back into your tiny country. And America, you are being cuckolded basically in front of the entire world because foreigners are basically coming on nonce vacations to the States. For those of you who don't know what a nonce is, it's English slang for pedos. So obviously Twitter is blowing up with it. Everyone's blowing up with it. Sean King started posting about this. If you guys don't know who Sean King is, count yourself lucky. But if you come across his page, buyer beware. And if you know, then you know. So I saw that he was the one posting about it. And for all of his faults, he does post regularly about Gaza, and I gotta give him credit where it's due. So he posted about this, and suddenly all of his posts just started disappearing. He wasn't flagged. He didn't get an email. He didn't get told, there's something up with the way you're posting. There's something wrong with the language. It just started disappearing off Twitter. So apparently this guy, Alexandrovich, one of the things he does when he comes to the States is make all these demands about things that they have to pull off the internet. I don't like this about Israel. I don't like that about Israel. I want this person banned. I want this person banned. And now there is, I think, pretty credible speculation that this guy might have been behind all of the banning that Sean King was facing in the past when he was posting about Gaza. And certainly him and the Israeli government are exactly the reason that Sean King's Twitter posts about this exact story were all taken down and disappeared. All the retweets, all the quote tweets, everything. Elon Musk's team actually did come out and say, we did get a request from a government, from a foreign government, take these things down. You don't have to be a genius to guess which foreign government it was. America would do it, but they're not foreign. So obviously it's this guy, and it's Israel. He literally has an interview on Twitter that I hope it didn't get taken down, that Sean King linked to, where he talks very proudly about one of his duties here being to get content taken off the internet. And we've seen Israel abusing this power, just making demands that America and Canada and Western countries all over the world just buckle to. Just take this stuff down. We don't like it. Take this down. We don't like it. We don't want people seeing the truth. We're so tired of people seeing all of the dead babies that we've created. We're so tired of people seeing us bomb schools and stuff like that. And obviously we're not going to stop doing it, but can you just stop showing it to everybody? Please. You're so anti-Semitic. Unbelievable stuff. This story is developing. Even as I'm recording it, there's more info coming out. So we'll probably do another video on this. If you like this kind of content, please, please, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button and help us get to 1,000 subscribers. Bread and Captivity News, out.